Oh, good morning. It is 6:15. My toddler just woke up. We have the milk heating on the stove. I was able to get all of my milk put in there, my jars sterilized and put away. Now we just have to wait for this to come to temperature and we'll come back to it. So today I've decided to make a wine-infused cheese. We're going to attempt to not end up like this today. This is my last attempt. As you can see, it is not pressed into a round. It is still in the curd form. Now, it might still have good flavor. It might age well. I don't know. But I went ahead and sealed it up and stuck it in the fridge to see what we can do with it. For now, our milk is heating up. It's almost to temperature, 82 degrees at the moment. So about 6 more degrees. And once this is ready to go, I will be back. Our milk is now about at the right temperature, 88 degrees, to go ahead and start the process of culturing our milk. I'm going to sprinkle this on top and let it rest for 2 minutes before I stir it to let all of the culture rehydrate fully and prevent clumping. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir. It's been resting for 2 minutes. And after this is all incorporated, I'm going to cover it and let it rest for an hour. I like to use these flour sack cloths for just about everything. They're cheaper than buying cheesecloth, and they're just as good. We're going to cover this up and let this rest for an hour. Now we add half a teaspoon of rennet and stir with an up and down motion for 30 seconds. I don't dilute my rennet. As my batches are so small, I can quickly distribute the rennet before coagulation occurs. Now we cover the milk for an hour as the rennet does its work. Okay, so now I'm going to start cutting the curds. Let those sit for about 5 minutes before I start cutting horizontally. Go ahead and check the temperature of our water. We have 1.5 quarts of water ready to go. We're working on heating it up to 140 degrees. We're going to add this to our curds after they've been cut and give them a chance to rest. Okay, now we're going to cut the other way. Okay, we're going to let this sit and rest again. We'll let it wait 5 minutes and then we'll pick right back up. Okay, now we're ready to stir our curds. I'm going to go ahead and give it a bit of a middle cut before starting. I'm going to try and be very gentle with these. So we don't break them too much. Temperature check. We're about where we need to be temperature-wise. Now we're going to begin removing some of our whey. We'll try to avoid getting any curds because that's what we want to keep. That is our cheese. Just very slowly so we don't break our curds and sugar. I'm going to fill up about 2-quart jars of whey. And then later we'll use that whey for our ricotta. Give these curds a quick stir. prevent them from sticking. This is where I always mess up. My curds all clump together. I'm going to check the temperature of this water. So now we're going to start adding in the water that I heated up to 140 degrees over the next half hour. Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? Because I don't. Just going with the flow every single time I make cheese. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Currently trying to get this done with my baby on my back. Look how precious. Okay, now we're going to add another scoop of our water. Give it another stir. You built a huge tower, didn't you?
I built a huge tower.
Check our temperature, and hopefully we're around 102 degrees. Get it down into the curd. You can see there's 102. So we're going to check the firmness of our curds. Also break some of these apart because my stirring job is just not adequate. We want to keep this at 102 for another half an hour.
I got huge mountain. That's the mountain.
Okay, so
The mountain. Me.
I did the test and my curds seem to break apart pretty easily. They might need to go a little bit longer, but I'm notorious for overcooking my curds. Now we're going to start ladling out our whey. Getting as much out as we possibly can. To speed this along, the smart thing to do is to just pour the whey straight into the stock pot. Since our curds have settled to the bottom, this is pretty easy to do without losing any of our curds. This is what we've got left. I'm going to break these up. We have our curds drained. Another shake. We're putting it in our bowl that we're going to soak it in. I'm going to break up some of these curds real quick. Okay, now that we've got our helper, who's going to want to grab this? So now we pour in our bottle of wine. We want the curds submerged. That's pretty good. They're mostly submerged. I might stir them a little later, but I'm going to call that good. We're going to let this sit for an hour. Let all the curds soak up as much wine as they can. And then after they sit for a while, we'll drain, mold, and press them. Our cheese has been soaking for over an hour now at this point. I'm going to go ahead and drain the wine off. Now we need some salt. I'm going to put in half of the salt. And while this sits and absorbs some of that salt, we're going to get our press ready. I say press like that because this is my little creation. I have a rice mat. I'm going to stick it in the bottom of my pan. Then I have my cheese form, and that is lined with the flour sackcloth. I'm going to settle this right in there. I'm going to give these a shake and then dump the other half of our salt right on top and let that sit for a moment. So you may be wondering, I don't have a cheese press. How am I going to do this? Say hello to my little friend. Give this cheese another little shake. And then we're going to slowly funnel this into our press. And hopefully I didn't make the same mistake as last time. And I can actually have a properly pressed cheese this go round. Our follower is going to go like this, right on top. This is hopefully going to work. Last time it did not. We're going to start off with 20 pounds for 2 hours. I'm going to try and settle this as evenly as possible, because last time my cheese was sitting in my form crooked, so it did not turn out right. All right, I'll see you in an hour. Now that our cheese has been sitting for an hour under the press, or in our case, our weights, we're going to go ahead and flip our cheese. It's important to flip the cheese, that way it sets evenly in the mold. We're getting a little bit of whey dripping out, which is perfect. That's just what we want. Now we're going to put our weights back in. 20, 30, 40. And this is going to set for another 2 hours, and then we're going to repeat the process and add another 20 pounds. Our cheese has been sitting for 2 hours, so now we're going to remove the weights and flip the cheese for one final time. Remove our follower. This time we're going to be adding an additional 20 pounds to total 60 pounds. And we're going to leave it sit here for 16 hours. All right, see you in 16 hours. Our cheese has been in the press for 16 hours now. It's time to pull it out and see what it looks like. Hopefully this isn't the only weightlifting I do today. Remove our follower. I'm going to switch to some gloves because you want everything to stay sterile. I can see one minor mistake already. Yeah, I'm not going to get too upset about it. All right, you ready for the unveiling? I'm not. I already know this is not going to be pretty, but it's pressed. We lost some curds already. That's some refreshing water, huh?
I'm done.
Okay. We'll take you out in a minute. I'm going to unwrap this and let it sit on our wire rack until it dries out enough that we can put it in the vacuum sealer. Look at that funky little bulge. I'm not going to say it adds character. I'm just happy that it is all one cohesive-ish round, right? It's better than last time. Our cheese has had adequate time to dry, so now we're going to take it and put it in our vacuum sealed bag. I am wearing gloves to make sure everything stays sterile. I'll check back in 2 to 4 months and we'll see how this looks.